Okay, good afternoon, class. Today we continue on with our lessons today, and today we'll be looking at differentiating between land and sea resources. I'm going to give you the definition, and I want you to find what the word that it defines. It says is anything that people can use which comes from nature. Is anything that people can use which comes from nature. You hear me? What you think that defines? Shear. Very good. That comes from nature. Yes, Edwin? Resources. Okay, very good. So in other words, it's resources, but a word in front of that, which is natural resources. So today we'll be talking about our natural resources that we have in Belize and around the world. Natural resources can also are materials and components that can be found within the environment. So anything that is within the environment can be used as a natural resource. Every man-made product is composed of some form of natural resource in one form or the other. So in one form or the other, like what Yemi said, she said chair. In one form or the other, a natural resource is used. Which natural resource we use there, Yemi, to build a chair? Wood. Very good. So that again, so the chair is linked to our natural resource. Now, we basically have two types of resources. We have renewable energy and non-renewable energy. Renewable. What do you think renewable means? Erwin?
You can get it again.
Get it again.
Can't get them again.
Okay, they are gone and you cannot get them back, but sometimes it takes a long time to recover. Alright, so if you look at the chart here on the board, we notice that we have the renewable side, we have different things. Evelyn, in the renewable side, can you list one of the energies that is renewable?
Wind energy.
Wind. How about the here? This one, what type of energy is that showing? Water energy. And then we have the plant and the sun and so forth. Now in the non-renewable energy section, we have the first one. Amy? First one over there. What type of energy do you think that is? Or that
Fossil fuel.
Fossil fuels. Very good. Another one. Stephen? Coal. And the next two we have is the nuclear. Okay? Now, another way of how we show the examples of the different resources is some in this floor chart. We have resources. Again, we break them up into two different categories, renewable and non-renewable. If we go down the renewable section, the first thing that comes up, one example is solar energy. The other one is air or wind, followed by water, the tides, the flowing, that creates energy. Okay, if you notice in the video that we just looked, when the iceberg fell into the sea, created a wave, a strong wave that the persons in the boat had to hurry away. And finally, in the renewable section, we have soil and plants. Plants we use our plants in different forms. Example, what Yemi said, we use plants to create chairs, especially student chairs that we use in our schools. The other section is non-renewable. The first section is fossil fuels, oil, coal, natural gas. Right now in Belize, we start to extract oil from our resources and we're exporting it out. We don't have any refineries, so we have to export our crude oil. Where do we export our crude oil to? To what country? Don't know. We export our crude oil to Panama. Okay, so that's where our majority of our crude oil goes to. And then we have metallic minerals, iron, copper, and aluminum. Then we have the non-metallic section, which is minerals, salts, and phosphates. Where do we get salts from? From the sea. Okay, so we have two different types of where we can get or natural resource, from sea and from land. Okay, so majority of the things that we take out from the sea, our resources from the sea, are minerals and salts. Okay, how about oil? Do we get out oil from our sea? Yes, because in Belize we have a big controversy. Yes,
Offshore drilling.
offshore drilling, and the NGOs, do they want for us to drill offshore? They're against it. They actually had a referendum on their own to say either yes or no. And what was the result of that?
No.
The majority said no. Okay. Now there are three main characteristics of resources. The first one being utility. Use. We use it. Second one is the limit availability of it. We have a certain amount, and if we use it fast, it will disappear. It is in a chain. It connects to each other. If you take out one section, it affects each and every one, from the smallest to the biggest. The third one is the potential for depletion or consumption. Okay, now we're going to do a short activity. The activity will be found in your student activity book on page 57. So please turn to page 57 for me. Now we mentioned some, so I want you to make a list. To make a list on land resources, and at the bottom of it you have sea resources. So you can pair up right now for a couple of 2 minutes and try to discuss and make as much examples on each column. Okay, thank you very much. Let's put our pens down, our pencils down. Okay, example of land resource. Anybody wants to give me an example of land resource?
Solar energy.
Solar energy. And where in that section did you put the solar energy, Eddie?
Under renewable resources.
Renewable resource. Why?
Because the sun, it would take a very long time for the sun to go, so the sun would be there. We can use the solar energy with solar panels, which can use that energy
For a long period of time. Girls. An example. Yes, Anna. Humans. Okay. You're found in land. What section did you put that one?
Renewable resources.
Renewable. Okay. Let's go to this sea resource. Sea resource. Anybody? Let me go to Stephen. Give me an example, Stephen, that you and your partner discussed.
Fish.
Fish. Where did you put that?
Renewable resource.
Under sustainability. How can we sustain our fishing industry? Yes, Erwin.
Let's say the season is from June to August, so then you can only catch lobster from then to then. Then the rest of the year the lobsters are reproducing, which makes it sustainable so that the lobster population won't die out.
Okay, very good. A girl? So it's one boy, one girl? Yes, Ian. Salt. Very good. Erwin brought up a topic on how to sustain our fishing industry. Now, We can move on with what does conservation refer to, because we need to conserve. That was basically what came out from Irwin's answer. Conserve. We need to conserve our natural resource. The first thing is management of our valuable resource, such as, first thing we need to manage or conserve is our wildlife. Do we have laws protecting some of our wildlife? Yes. Okay. The other one is the watershed areas. We need to protect them also. Forestry, where our tree is concerned, because remember we need the different forests for us to live and have that exchange of gas. Timber, we need to conserve it. Right now, what was being depleted in timber? Which type of timber were we exporting down in the southern district? Yes, sir.
Rosewood.
Rosewood. We were exporting our rosewood, and now they had to put a stop to it. We also have to conserve our different minerals from wasteful or destructive use. So we have to conserve, not to waste things, not to destroy things. We need to use them properly. Now, this is an example here how we can conserve different things. The first one is a picture of a man in his garden. Usually, if we're farmers, we usually use water in the morning when we wet our plants, and in the evening when the sun is not too hot. So in other words, that's one way of conserving water. Going straight across, we have use a hose nozzle. Again, so that if you notice, if you don't have a nozzle and then you put on the water and you move on, the water is being wasted. If you have a nozzle, then automatically it saves us the water. It says you also can conserve water by using plants that don't necessarily use a lot of water. Minimal water, and you still have a beautiful plant. Another thing right now in appliances, the star. Many appliances are now advertising that their energy, they save energy. They use less energy. Okay, so using less energy helps to conserve. Again, the water, sometimes when we go and take a shower or brushing our teeth, we know usually brush your teeth and leave the water running. We need to conserve our water, turning off the pipe while we're brushing, and when we're rinsing, going over to this, when sometimes we have chores and we have to wash dishes. Now, when we're washing the dishes, we don't want to wash individually. Now, we continue on. We have used a broom, not a hose, to clean driveways and walkways. Those are just some examples of how we can conserve water. They are also known as non-renewable resource, not be replaced. In other words, these example of non-renewable resource is coal, iron, and oil. Okay, so all of these are exhaustible resource, another name such as non-renewable resource. Other natural resources are non-exhaustible. So with careful management, the point there is that it has to be careful management. You have to carefully manage it. They renew themselves and are available indefinitely. But if we overuse it, or we use the different resources just to use, then we will have one depletion of one natural resource. Examples include fish stocks, forests, and water resource. Forests. If we take the forest example first, if we cut down a tree, we plant back one. So eventually you might use the timber for now, and later on in the future, your children, the other generation, will be able to have the tree again. So if we use that as a sustainability, that if we cut one, we plant one, we will have our forests intact. If used up too fast, they will be exhausted too. So if we use them up, if we don't manage them properly, and we just use these natural resources, we will lose them. Importance of protecting natural resources. First, preventing deforestation of trees, which leads to loss of habitat for different species. We're reducing displacements of animals from their habitats, which could result in extinction of the fauna. Preventing pollution. Preventing pollution, which in return can have an adverse effect on our health and water availability. So we need to also be conscious of pollution. Protecting the forest is very significant in maintaining the diversity of our ecosystem. We have a good ecosystem, a healthy one, and we need to protect them. Human beings rely heavily on natural resources for existence. We use these natural resources for us to live. If resources are depleted, then life becomes non-vulnerable to illness and death. Okay, because for example, if we have a lot of trees in our pine forest, we have a good return in oxygen. So the oxygen is healthy, the air is healthy with oxygen. Now if we have less oxygen, everybody will be trying to fight or breathing in the same small amount of oxygen, which will then lead into different types of illnesses. Land resources. Our natural resources in the forms of arable land, example, forest, prairie, farm. We have pictures of each one. Factors which control the nature of soil. Porosity, the volume of water that can be held in a soil, also refers to the ratio of volume of voids to the total volume of soil. We looked at an example, we did an experiment with when we looked at how the water affects the soil underneath the pine forest. Water holding capacity, water retention capacity. How our soil can hold or retain water. The better we have better water retention, the less erosion we have. Texture, the relative proportion of sand, silt, and clay particles in a mass of soil. If we have clay, what will occur? And it rains. We did this already. Irma, if we have clay and it rains, what occurs to the water? What happens to the water?
The water will get dirty.
Okay, the water will get dirty, and what else? Edwin?
There will be an immediate runoff of water.
Very good. There will be an immediate runoff of water. Now we're talking about black dirt or humus. If it is healthy underneath the pine forest and it rains, what occurs to the water? More than likely,
You get dirtier.
it gets dirtier, but something else occurs to it concerning the water retention.
It will sink down quickly.
Okay, it will retain water much better than the clay. Sea resources are marine organisms and animals that could be used as food, such as oil, petroleum, and natural gas. We have minerals. We also have fresh water, and sometimes we take out sand and gravel. Now, if you look at San Pedro, when we went to their trip, we noticed that they have beaches. Now, we have a company that sells the sand, the beach sand. They extract it from the seabed and they sell it to the different resorts and hotels so that they can have a nice beach in front of them. Ocean water facts. The world's oceans, with a total of volume of more than 500 million cubic kilometers, hold more than 97% of all the water on Earth. So 97% of the water. So that means it is 97% of salt or fresh. Irma.
Salt.
salt water. And can we drink salt water, Irma? Is it healthy for us?
No.
No. So we need, what type of water we need?
Fresh water.
Fresh. So we only have 3% of fresh water. Okay? 3% of fresh water that we use to drink. And if we use it, if we do not manage it properly, it can be depleted. However, the 3.5% salt content of this water makes it unusable for most human needs.
Sir, do we have humans have developed a method of filtering salt water so it can be safe to drink?
So far, in some cases, yes, in some of the developing countries, but not to the extent here in Belize. The extraction of fresh water from ocean water has been carried out for many years, but provides only a very small portion of water used and remains quite expensive relative to land-based water resource. So the question is answered also. It is very expensive. Technological advances, especially in reverse osmosis, continue to increase the efficiency of freshwater extraction. However, geographic limitations and dependency of world energy costs pose major barriers to large-scale extraction. So we're just doing it right now, but in a smaller scale. How can land resources be affected by climate change? Kyle?
If it gets too hot, some of the natural resources we have would die, and then we won't have any use for them.
Okay, very good. Anybody else?
The last class you mentioned that it is a very suitable condition for beetles, mountain pine beetles to grow, so to reproduce. So they will start attacking more trees, more pine trees, and we could lose many of our forests because of the rising temperature on beetles.
Thank you. Very good. So the rise in temperature will make it appropriate temperature level for the pine beetles to reproduce at a much faster pace. And if they are producing in a much faster pace, they need more pine trees, eventually trickling it down that they will start to be killing the different pine trees and bringing our pine forest to a small amount. And that again will, just like how Dr. Leslie said, it trickles down, because if we lose our pine forest, the animals that live there will then have to be displaced. Will we have to find another place for to make their home or get affected with their habitats and also what they eat. Another one. How can humans make the necessary changes in behavior and lifestyle if the imminent disaster associated with climate change is to be averted? So we need to change. We need to change so that our natural forests can be, our natural resources can be manageable and sustained. Now, what we'll do is play a little activity. Pictionary. Who have already played Pictionary already? Okay, 2 persons. Kyle, can you tell me one instruction?
We played in a group. One person draws while the other members try to guess what the person is drawing.
Okay, so it uses drawings. So I'll be breaking you guys into 2 groups. We'll modify those rules. That will break you guys into 2 groups. One group will send up one person who will give them a word, and they will use only pictures, and the group will try to guess what resource it is, what type of natural resource it is. Okay? And if they get it in 1 minute, they get a point. If they do not get the correct answer, the other group has a chance to steal that point by giving, but they will only have one answer to give using the pictures that the person draw. Okay? Understand? Yes, no? Yes. Okay. One person from this group will come and draw. Who's gonna choose? Choose one person. Edwin? Okay, come Edwin. So you guys have to observe also, and so that if they, by chance they don't get it in 1 minute, you guys are able to answer if you know it. So Ms. Martinez, 1 minute please, as soon as he starts to put the marker on the chart. Draws. Let's draw. You need to draw. Wait, before he continues, let me repeat the instruction again. In a word, he will start to use drawings to try to depict the type of energy being given, or resource. The resource, sorry, that's supposed. Ready? 1 minute. You guys just talk it out. Wind. Very good. So they have 1 point. This one person from here. Good. So you guys have 1 point. How many seconds it took? One person. Yeah, only this group can get. I have 5, so hopefully. Ready? Ready? 1 minute, Miss Brown. Miss Martinez. Answer? Remember, this is this group. You guys cannot see. Oil? Very good. See, he gave the answer. Stephen, your group needs to be quiet for the whole minute. Okay? Very good. So it's 1-1. Next person up. Ready? 1 minute. Talk it out, talk it out. Talk it out, talk it out. Keep on drawing, keep on drawing. Keep on drawing, keep on giving answers. Let's go. Come on, come on. Continue. No? Come on, remember it's a resource. It's a time. Okay. This group, you have 10 seconds to come together as a group and give one answer. Let's see if you guys can take away their points. Solar energy? What is it?
Land.
Land. Okay, this side, one person. One person, come on. Not the same person though. Ready? 1 minute.
Water.
Water. Stephen again. Stephen, remember the instruction. You need to be quiet until the group answers. Okay, that's 2-2, right? So let's go. 2-1, sorry. Next up, this group. One person to draw, come on. You see that one, 2, or 3? Ready? 1 minute. Remember you guys?
Thunderstorm, hurricane. Wind.
Clouds.
Waves.
keep on drawing and keep on. Here. Very good. So it's 2-2, right? The last one. 2 points each. The last one. This group. So if they get it, they win. If not, you guys can have the opportunity to come. One person. One minute. Come on, keep guessing. Come on. Come on. Guess. Say answers. Come on. Come on. Keep on drawing, Kyle.
Forest.
Come on.
Forest, wildlife.
They're close.
Close to forestry.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, let's do it. The last activity that we'll be doing is, you notice that I made a conservation chart, or I showed a conservation chart of water. Now I want you to pick a natural resource, a land resource, and you're going to try to see how we can conserve that natural resource. You see, you remember with the water, I use different ways how we can conserve water. You guys are going to choose a resource, and you're going to tell me on the construction paper ways of how we can conserve that specific land resource. For the next 3 minutes, and we share, and that's it. Yeah. Okay, so you have one each.
You're supposed to draw one of them or make one?
You make up one. Conserve, yes. How you gonna conserve? Yes, one each. Choose one land resource, and then you tell me or draw or mention points how we can conserve. Okay, so time. So we'll share a little bit right now. We have one person. Any volunteers? Kyle? You have your hand up?
Conserve water.
You want to conserve water, okay?
Take off water pipes when you are not using it. Catch rainwater in drums to conserve water you shower with. When drinking water, take out only the amount you need.
Okay, very good. Okay, Daisy.
Don't kill an animal if you're not using it. Like for example, a jaguar. Don't kill a jaguar. Only kill animals that you're, like for example, get nuts. You know what you're gonna eat it, so you can have that. And instead of killing them, you can protect them.
Okay, so we can conserve different types of animals. Okay, so we know that some animals are in the endangered list, and we need to protect them, so we cannot hunt them as much as we should. Okay? Anybody else? Okay, Edwin.
How to conserve electricity? My first option is to off the lights when nobody is using it. Second one is don't raise the volume for TVs or stereos too high if it's not necessary.
Okay, thank you very much. I'd like to thank you once again, and please, we need to conserve our land resources for the near future. Thanks very much.